6 people are missing after a bridge in the American state of Maryland collapsed when it was struck by a fully loaded cargo ship. It's understood the vessel reportedly lost power twice in the moments before it struck a pylon off the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. The incident has triggered a search and rescue mission for half a dozen construction workers who were on the bridge moments before it collapsed. The Port of Baltimore has released a statement this morning saying, "We want to express our deepest thoughts to the individuals and families involved in this morning's tragic incident." Vessel traffic into and out of Port of Baltimore is suspended until further notice. This does not mean the Port of Baltimore is closed. At this time, though, we do know, or do not know, I should say, how long vessel traffic will be suspended. Until then, please keep those involved in your prayers.
The billowing smoke is an omen of what's about to happen. A massive container ship hitting a commuter bridge in Baltimore. The force of the impact collapsing the structure, sending vehicles and people into the water, and prompting the Maryland government to declare a state of emergency.
Everything so far indicates that this was a terrible accident. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here. Personnel on board the ship were able to alert the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of their vessel, as you all know and reported. As a result, local authorities were able to close the bridge to traffic before the bridge was struck.
Authorities believe all those missing are workers who were fixing potholes at the time. The intense search is covering a large area. And with daylight exposing the extent of the damage, the sight overwhelming to commuters who cross the bridge daily.
You drive over that bridge every day, you just turn your brain off. It's really easy. It's structurally, it's sound. There's never been any issues. I've lived here for 20 years, never had any problems. And it's bizarre, quite frankly. I mean, I was on that bridge last night at 6:30, and I had to divert myself to get here this morning. It still hasn't hit me. I stood on the end of the dock, and it's eerie. There is nothing there.
The crew of the Singapore-flagged ship reported loss of power around the time of the crash. This video shows lights going out as it approaches the bridge, and it looks like it's veering off course in the final moments before it careers into a pillar, hitting it with the force of its weight and its cargo.
These ships are propelled by these huge, massive diesel engines, and what we saw was when the ship lost power and all the power went out, that meant it dropped its main engine plant. That engine is directly connected to the propeller. We know the ship dropped its port anchor. We can see it in images. The problem is, at 100,000 tons and 8 knots, an anchor is not going to slow down and stop this vessel.
None of the crew on board were harmed, according to the ship's owner, who says the company is cooperating with the US government's investigation. But as the hours pass in the search for those thrust into cold water, rescuers know that their window of hope may not be open for much longer. Milena Veselinovic, Sky News.